became free and what price we paid for our freedom. Vinith.
All right. Valuable thoughts, ma'am. Well, another question that is always asked in some of these FAQs is how to protect pets during air raid sirens. Well, move them indoors immediately. Pets are extremely sensitive to these noises. You know what happens to them during Diwali. Create a safe and quiet space for them and ensure they have proper identification. The next question is 10 items to have readily available before an air raid siren. And the answer is it should include a first aid kit, non-perishable food supply, sufficient water source and supplies, flashlight or a light source, personal or family ID, radio, gas, mass shelter plan, fire extinguisher and handy cash. And of course, cash is going to be king when something like this happens. Question number 8, what signal indicates that an air raid is over? Well, all clear signal is typically sounded off. It's a steady tone or a distant sound. It indicates that an air raid threat is over. Sirens honk continuously for 30 seconds. Next question is what is a crash blackout? Well, cities may switch off visible lights to mimic a blackout condition to reduce risk of detection during nighttime airstrikes. Next question can also be what should be my immediate reaction to a crash blackout? Well, be indoors, duck under your study tables, switch off all lights and unplug non-essential appliances to prevent overload at a later stage. All right, well, we are getting our inputs from our guests who in fact have seen their share of such a situation. I'm also going to rope in Mr. Alok Mehta, editorial director of India News, and get his point of view on what's happening over here. Mr. Mehta, is this situation reminiscent of what happened in 1971? I'm sure you were a young man then. What is your recollection of what happened and how is the situation different today?
Niji, thank you very much. Because certainly at that time also I was very young, but in the very young age I started my journalism. So I was working in Hindustan Samachar. There was a Hindi agency at the time, very prominently one Hindi agency, and I was working at that time the Mandi House, where now the Doordarshan is there. At the time the Hindustan Samachar was there. Even up to emergency, 71 to 75, I was there working there. So I remember, I think this type of strike, 71 was when I was sub-editor, reporter, agency, you have to work both at the time, there were few staff members. So I remember that time, the blackout, the planes are coming, going, siren, and this kind of very scary, because in 65, certainly I was a teenager in Ujjain, and at the time in Madhya Pradesh, I was not felt that, so I don't remember even that case, what was happening at the time. But now 71 was active, and even I was working on teleprinter at the time. The teleprinter we used to go whole night agency, midnight or late night we were working. So at that time, what I feel, but now situation is quite different. Now the satellite age, what I feel this exercise is good for the society because different kind of, we have faced the COVID. Almost that was also a crisis for the whole country. These kind of, maybe it's for bordering states more important, but if bordering state is suffering and then because of this missiles and different kind of Chinese support, cyber attacks are drone, what Mukherjee also mentioned about it, I think that's why one should be ready to face, like an ambulance. We always keep ambulance, even New Delhi government again and said more ambulance will be there. Not because of the Pakistan, but just because we need, anytime we need, immediately ambulance should come. So these kind of exercise, I think it's not for panic. That's why through you and the channel and colleagues also, I was telling, this is a different situation. Now, certainly blackout is there, but you see, it's very difficult for them to come up to Delhi or Agra or inside India because I believe, because now veteran army general with us, so he will tell Mr. Tyagi, he will tell you details that how we can safeguard, because the army, I believe, always believe, and that's why I'm very critical about the opposition, who doubt about our Air Force and all this, because our Air Force capable to counter from anywhere, all the borders. So how they will reach us? But certainly, if somebody, our neighbor, means in some Jammu Kashmir, if somebody is facing, we should also learn how to fight it. Maybe somebody is there. If you do this exercise, maybe you are sitting in south or you are sitting in north or western border in Rajasthan, because Pakistan always did. You see 3 major agreements from 65, Tashkent, then you say Shimla Agreement, then the Lahore Agreement. Every Prime Minister from after independence, they were always deceived us, and then ultimately, now this is the final round. They have to surrender, like surrender what they did in 71. Either they give all these Hafiz Saeed and all the terrorist leader, and we will punish them like a kasab, but not with the judicial process. So what I feel this time, what the major question is, how much alert we should certainly, precaution should be there, like any emergency, like in a medical facilities. Same thing for the security forces. And again, I will just mention the Agniveer, our NCC, Scouts, they are also trained. Pakistan should remember, they are threatening up nuclear. They can't do anything. Our cyber people are also very capable to stop them there. Or the American and Russia, they are also watching this situation. They are just talking about the nuclear because they want that Russia or America should deal with us. But they are also saying, okay, finish the terror, because they are also suffering terror all over the world. We are the only country who are facing since last 50, 60, 70 years. And that's why this is the right time when we have to just go and finish the terrorist camp. We are not going to capture. We are already in Bangladesh was free. The same thing in 65 or in Kargil also. We said, okay, go behind this. So this time I think precaution like ambulance and for every medical emergency, whatever we can do, we should do as a citizen and as a patriot citizen. I think everybody is going to follow, and Pakistan, all over the world will know that how India can counter this terrorism.
All right. Well, another question that will usually be asked when a crash blackout happens, is the loss of electricity instantaneous? Well, yes, visible lights are